93 WIBC, it's Terry Stacy. All right, it is time. The Sochi Winter Olympics now in full swing. And just as I promised you last week, middle child advocate blogger, International Middle Child Union boss, and Middle Child Party founder, Bruce Hopman, is back. Hello, Bruce.
Wow, with all those titles and that music, it's hard to not feel important for once in my life. This is awesome. And I thank you for putting Indianapolis at the forefront in the struggle for middle child rights. This is a public service that you're doing.
We wanted to ask you about your week. Have you been at work?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm coming off my big Super Bowl prediction. I predicted Seattle to win in a blowout with that precise score. But that's besides. So that's why we move on from that. And
right.
And the Olympics are coming up. And, the Winter Olympics are huge. I mean, when you look at viewership for the Olympics, more people in 2010 watched the Vancouver games than every game of the 2009 NBA Finals, every game of the World Series, every game of the College Bowl Championship Series, and the NCAA Championship game combined. So
Bruce, you really have done your research.
Oh, this is this is serious stuff, Terry. The world needs to know this. If you can't be taken seriously as a middle child advocate if you don't do your homework.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why I didn't have much faith in you. But you've come through for me once again.
Thanks so much.
What do you like about the Winter Olympics?
I do have a new favorite sport in the Winter Olympics, and I'm going to tell you what that is and why. It's because obviously my choice is based on total middle child reason. So what I did was I wanted to find, like for the Super Bowl, I was like, all right, let's see how many middle children are on one team or the other, and that'll be our angle for my coverage of the Super Bowl. But for the Olympics, since they're so huge, I knew I had to kind of up my game a little bit and find a better middle child angle to cover this at the blog. Instead of just finding middle child athletes to highlight and talk about, I'm taking it up a notch, and I'm rallying support for an entire Olympic event. Yeah, not just any event, though. I searched for one that captures the true middle child spirit, a sport that never quite gets the attention or acclaim it yearns for. And that's how I arrived at the sport of curling.
Oh, it's curling. I thought you were going to go biathlon. You think curling?
No, I am going curling. Now, it's that we all know what curling is. It's that kind of strange sport that it's kind of like shuffleboard on ice, but you do it with. But it's clearly, to me, curling is the middle child of Winter Olympic sports, and I will tell you why.
Okay.
All right. First of all, it's always being overshadowed by its sibling sports, okay? In terms of TV viewership, it never comes close to being the favorite, okay? Everyone's always like oohing and ahhing over the baby sister figure skating.
Sure.
And, making a big fuss over Big Brother ice hockey. And curling is there like, hey, well, what about me, right? No, it's
the
not
middle child, right?
Exactly. No, it's not that people aren't nice to curling. They're nice to curling. There's something about it that people kind of like. They think it's kind of, strangely interesting. In Canada, there's a lot of buzz about it online. There's a virtual curling game you can play online. I've posted, if you go to the blog, smackthatblog.com, I posted a link to this virtual curling game. It's not that people don't like curling, but most people just don't get it. So, I'm thinking, a sport that never quite gets the attention it would like, and that people don't quite understand.
Curling.
Right? If that's not a sport a middle child can relate to, then, I don't know what is.
I feel like you're stretching. I feel like you're stretching here. I've given you this opportunity this time on WIBC, and this is what you come up with. I thought for sure we were going to look at middle child athletes, but instead you go for a whole sport.
I think that's raising the bar, Terry. I think that's going above and beyond, because I'm not just going for the sport. I am rallying. I am asking for your help in reaching out to everyone in your listening audience, every middle child, everyone who's sympathetic to the underdog. We all need to rally behind curling.
Well, I know you've called the curling people. Have you called them and told them what you're doing, the support that you're trying to gather among the United States?
I did call USA Curling, and they didn't call me back.
Yeah,
which happens a lot when I call. But then, so I figured, okay, it's just business as usual. But they did call me back a couple of days later. We are talking. They kind of maybe like the idea of the International Middle Child Union supporting and rallying the country behind curling. But look, if we're going to do this, if this is going to work, if we're going to get the attention, we need to learn more about the sport. We need to know some of the terms, because just like any other sport, like with football, you don't have to fully understand the game. If you know enough of the words, you can kind of sound like you're talking about. We can fake it a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Are you going to teach us?
Well, a little bit. I thought I'd give you just a quick breakdown, and then some of the things that you could say that'll make you sound like, I know curling. curling. You know what I mean?
Willing to listen to what you have. Go ahead.
All right, well, so curling is played on a sheet, okay? Called a sheet because you're literally playing on a sheet of ice, okay? There's two teams. The teams are called rinks. There's 4 players in each team. They slide these rocks down the sheet, okay? They call the rocks stones.
Yes.
And there's a target at either end of the course called a house.
Oh.
Okay, and the idea is to get the stones as close to the center of the house as possible. All right, I'm not going to get into all the details of the rules, but the very center of the house is called the button or the pot, okay?
All right.
All right, so now a stone that kind of goes right to the edge of the target, the edge of the house, that's called a biter. So you go, oh, that was a biter. And then, people go, oh, wow, this guy's like, he knows his curling, right? If it comes right to the middle where of the button, that's called, he drew the lid. Oh, man, that really hit the lid. Or you could say that really hit the pin, all right? And people like, oh my God, this guy's a curling expert. Like you want to say good shot, you go, nice rock. Or, oh, that was on the broom. Or that really hit the broom, all right? Now, at a bad shot, because sometimes the stone will slide and it won't go where they want it. You go, oh, the rock picked. Oh man, that rock picked. All right. So if you can just learn now on the blog again at the blog, I posted links to. There's actually a Curling for Dummies website. Okay. So we can go there, and you could brush up on some of this stuff. But you have to remember, these are called the sheet, the stone, all right? These are the things, the 2 key words that you should need to know. Now, also, when I called the USA Curling Association, I reminded them that, before I became the world's leading middle child blogger and middle child advocate, and actually the world's only middle child advocate, I was in advertising for most of my life. So I said to them, hey, you know what, I can help you here. I've got some ideas. I got a few theme lines that maybe would work for you. And I ran some of them by them, to see what they would think. One of them was USA Curling, we're not taking sheet from anyone. I thought,
oh, Bruce.
Hey, well,
wow.
No, there's a good one.
I don't know if I'd call that a good one. I mean, it's clever. Yes, clever. I don't know about a great. Oh, go ahead for your next one.
But that was USA Curling. It takes stones to play.
Oh, hey.
I kind of like that one, right? Now, there's a men's team and there's a women's team. So for the USA women's curling team, I thought girls just want to have fun. I thought that was an interesting one. And then,
Bruce,
the bumper stickers you always see on cars, teachers do it with class.
Yes.
Curlers do it on ice-cold sheets. I thought that was a good one. Now,
you're not in advertising anymore, are you?
No, I did leave. They haven't bought any of these lines yet, and they said they'd get back to me, but I have a feeling when they do, it might be with a subpoena or possibly a lawsuit. So I'm not waiting for that call, really. But
by the way, let me introduce you again, just in case anyone wonders what is going on here. This is Bruce Hopman, and Bruce is the International Middle Child Union boss. He's also the Middle Child Party founder, a middle child advocate blogger. He is all things middle child. You can find and read him at smackdabblog.com. Yes, Bruce, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just, look, I think there's a good reason for middle children to rally behind curling, and like I said, for anyone who's a fan of the underdog. Look, I gave you my other reasons, but you can't tell me that the person that invented curling wasn't a middle child. I mean, really. Who else?
I don't know.
Well, you can't find out the exact history. It goes way, way back. But who else would think of yelling at a sliding stone while chasing it on ice with a broom? I mean, does that sound like normal behavior to you?
Middle child.
That's definitely
screaming.
Middle child
I'm a middle child sport. It's screaming it. Bruce Hopman, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce, listen, that awesome. Just a fantastic job. If you would like to find out more things, Bruce, I hate to tell you, we've got to run here, but if you'd like to find out more about all things middle child, just visit smackdabblog.com, also on Facebook, or you can follow Bruce on Twitter at midkidmusings.com. Bruce,
let's do this, Indianapolis. Let's get curling. Let's make it happen.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
I find that guy very, very entertaining. He'll be back again. You know he will be. All right. Don't go anywhere. We still have another hour to go of the first day. And in fact, Tony Dungy will join us in the next hour. He's going to talk about why he was in jail. That's a very interesting story. Plus, Indianapolis Monthly has put together a bucket list of must-do places and events and restaurants here in town. And we'll also speak with a local professor who will talk about Indiana's ties to the Beatles as we celebrate their first appearance here in the United States. In fact, 50 years ago today. Fox News is next. Thanks for being here with us this morning, right here on 93 WIBC. 93